According to Farm Sanctuary, an animal protection advocacy program, the unnatural and excessive antibiotics given to farm factory animals put human population at risk of chronic disease, obesity, and drug-resistant bacteria. Nearly 10 billion land-based animals and countless more aquatic life is farmed for food and resources each year in the U.S. and are farmed in unacceptable conditions that do not align with customer stated value. These past few weeks, I have performed extensive research regarding the harmful conditions factory farm animals face that affect both the animals and the humans who consume the produced food. At my job, Mauricio, my managers and supervisors make it imperative that I do not give any of our customers any of the dirty or red meat that could affect their health. Factory farming is a major problem in America and can very well lead to the danger of our race. I do not believe enough people in our world know how harmful factory farming is to not only their health, but as well to the environment and community that they live in. And so I advocate all to help put an end to factory farming today. You see, the first part of the problem regarding factory farming is the harmful effects that it may cause to our environment. It is a major contributor in both air and water pollution. You see, factory farm animals produce more than 1 million tons of manure every day. And often, this manure is produced from undigested antibiotics fed to them to prevent disease outbreaks, and which produces methane gas in the ozone layer, breaking it layer by layer each year as they progress. Factory farming companies use alternative areas for animal waste, in which include large open-air lagoons, which are practically animal waste lakes by now. These lagoons prove harmful in cases where they may leak or spill, flooding into other bodies of water, contaminating them and harming the fish population of that community. The factories have taken major hits to the water supplies of all other rural communities in which the factories are built in, drawing water supply for crops, drinking water for the animals, as well as sanitation for the farm, slaughterhouse, and transportation trucks. One case for the farm's harmful effects is its major cause to deforestation. 70% of land formerly supporting the Amazon has just been turned into grazing for farm factories like these. It is the biggest driver in deforestation and agriculture and is responsible for around 80% of it since 2015. Though it's apparent that farm factories are a significant problem that it has in health and in environment, it serves much more harmful effects to the animals in which live in these hellish conditions. The second part of the problem is that people do not know enough about the horrid conditions in which the animals live in. From the day they arrive, factories' animals are essentially turned into machines, producing meat day in and day out in unimaginable conditions. These animals are kept in suffocating cages, kept away from the sun, fresh air, and natural stimuli in which they need to survive. Even selective breeding has acted as a significant disadvantage to the animals that are kept here. Selective breeding for faster growing yields of the food that these animals are producing puts the animals at risk of problems such as broken bones, organ failures, and commonly failures in birth. Because the animals are kept in such small confined areas, they usually injure each other out of stress or boredom. Because of this, farmers have to go to the extremes of docking their tails, clipping their teeth, and maybe even clipping their beaks, all without any pain relief. I hope it is apparent that factory farming of animals is an impending disaster waiting to happen and should be addressed. The solution I propose is to advocate against factory farming companies by buying less meat from the retail stores.
Although stopping your consumption of meat may be a broad form of advocacy, petition signings and even boycotting can go a long way towards this help in stopping the cruelty of animals in factory farms. And in conclusion, I hope it is clear to see how detrimental factory farming could be to our race and world in the future if we continue to let the animals be treated in such savage conditions. I ask you consider limiting your meat consumption, possibly even advocating against factory farms. Think about the horrible ways an animals are treated for the pleasure of just good food. And so I'd like to end this presentation in the words of Wayne Palace. Not a sparrow falls without its maker knowing. Here, he meant, we must be open-minded and mindful of all the creatures that we take for granted. For they may be here today, but tomorrow is another mystery.